Hey, what's up you guys? So One Piece is now out, thankfully, here to fix my One Piece withdrawal symptoms, and we start off with Ideo. Now Ideo is shooting at some other ships. I kind of want to know if we know who he's shooting at, but the ship that he's on was actually given to him by Arlumbus, because Arlumbus had a fleet back in Dressrosa, and he gave one to Ideo. Now I think, just as a brief reminder, every time Oda has shown us a cover story for one of the fleet members, we always open up with their respective ships. So yeah, he's already opened fire at somebody, and then after Ideo's cover story, we'll get Leo's. After Leo's, we'll get Hajundin, which I think is probably the one that I'm most interested in, just because he's a giant, and hopefully there'll be some connection to Elbaf in that cover story. And then after that, it's Horlumbus, and after that, we're done. But anyway, the chapter opens up with Luffy versus Katakuri. A couple of observations in this very first page. This is like, I've seen this before, but this is the first time I'm going to comment on this. Do you guys know what that thing is on Katakuri's knee? That thing that looks like three Lego pieces assembled together? Because I'm looking at it from the back, and it almost makes it seem as if he has like a robotic leg, like some type of metallic robotic part that was assembled because he lost his leg or something. But anyway, I don't think that's the case. But he starts off the chapter replying to Luffy's previous statement that we got in the last chapter, where Luffy said, "I'm not going to die here. I don't have any plans on dying here." And then Katakuri's like, well, it doesn't really matter if you plan on dying or not, because people just, when they die, that just kind of happens. You don't want it to happen, it just kind of happens. And then Brule pops out of a mirror, and she just starts hyping up Katakuri like no tomorrow. It is crazy. And by the way, in that first page, like, Luffy looks really clean. It's like, what happened during that 1 week break? But then you go to page 2 and you notice that he's a lot more bloodied up, and there's more damage there. So, Oda probably just forgot to draw that in the first page. Or his assistants, I don't know. But anyway, I'm a little bit worried that Brule is hyping up Katakuri just to make Luffy look good. If he ends up taking him down, like, he's undefeated, he's never fallen once, right? Both figuratively and literally. Like, when he was born, he got out and made his way up to a chair, and then he just fell asleep there sitting. So he's never laid on the ground. Now, I think the reason for why Luffy got angry and told Brule to shut up wasn't because she was hyping Katakuri up, it was because she was literally placing the mental image into Luffy's head of Big Mom giving birth. Nobody really wants that mental image there, I think. Even though technically by talking about it, I just kind of like put that in your mind, so I'm sorry. But anyway, Katakuri blocks Luffy's hit casually, sends him smashing into the wall, and I like how now he's using the trident, right? So he kind of like inflates his arm, just makes it, kind of like sort of like a gear third thing. But so not only does he like make it bigger, but he spins the trident kind of like a whisk. Luffy dodges and it leaves a hole in the wall, and it literally reminded me of something out of Naruto, like when Naruto does the Rasengan against Sasuke in the rooftop, and it leaves like a little hole, but then you look at the other side of the water tank and it's just completely destroyed. I mean, this thing just bursts. Now Brule actually tells Big Mom that the rendezvous point for the Straw Hat Pirates is Cacao Island, but before that, and obviously for plot purposes, Big Mom is probably going to go to Peanut Island to waste some time so that she can allow Sanji enough time to make her that cake. Now here's the thing, because we see the sea slug that Perospero created with a face. So my question is this. Back when we saw Jinbei, do his helmsman thing and avoid the wave, was Big Mom really controlling the sea? Or was she controlling the sea slug and just riding the wave? Because in that page, the water homie isn't there, and then the sea slug says, "Can we play that wave game again, mama?" So was she controlling the water, or was she controlling the giant sea slug? And speaking of sea slugs, Mondior says in this chapter that the sea slug transmitters are not responding. They're not reporting anything, which to me is either very, very obviously linked to Jinbei, who was like noticeably absent in this chapter, or it could also be linked to that thing that Chopper saw a couple of chapters back when he looked out of the submarine and he's like, "What's going on out there?" They were underwater and he saw something like, it looks like somebody's fishing. So somebody could have like fished them out of the water to stop them from transmitting any type of report to the Big Mom pirates. So Luffy's been dodging Katakuri's trident, and by the way, like, the trident looks really, really nice. I mean, that is a high quality trident. I believe the attack is called Mochi Pounding, right? Now the attacks don't land because I guess Luffy's gotten accustomed to dodging Katakuri twice, because not only does he have to dodge the initial attack, but since Katakuri can see the future, he knows where he's going to dodge to, so he has to dodge almost immediately after he dodges again to bypass Katakuri's ability, which, in the wedding, like, Sanji kind of like bypassed the jelly bean, so it makes sense that Luffy would be able to do it. The thing that really like like raised a red flag in my mind was when Katakuri says, "People don't usually dodge my attacks this much. It's stressing me out." So base Luffy's dodging ability is stressing Katakuri out. Did he mean it? Did he not mean it? You tell me. Let's move on for now. Because Gear 4th is coming up next. So Katakuri uses his awakening, right? Catches Luffy in the substance. Luffy says, "Oh, it's this thing that, Mingo could do." And he's like, "Yep, I'm awakened," which we knew, I think, at this point. I mean, you just had to, look into what Katakuri was doing before this, and you could tell that he had awakening. So Luffy gets caught in the mochi, goes like this, Gear 4th incoming. But if you notice, he's blowing on his arm, and his arm doesn't have haki on it. And every time we've seen him activate Gear 4, before that, he already has haki on his arm. So that could have been a mistake. Maybe Oda, again, he forgot. Maybe the assistants forgot. Or maybe it's another thing that he's doing. Because here's the thing, and I said this before. When you activate Gear 4th, you have to make sure that you can finish the job within the time limit. Because if he loses his haki, it's game over. Unless he does the exact same thing that he did against Crackerware, in which he would go Gear 4th, attack, run out of time, retreat, recoup, and then come back. But then that would just be kind of lame, especially because it's like, where is he going to run to? It's like, is he going to go inside of one of these mirrors and stuff? It would just be kind of lame, in my opinion. So what I hope Luffy has been able to think about and implement is that he has to come up with a way of reserving some of his haki so he doesn't just use it all in one go like he did in the past. So maybe this new Gear 4th thing of not having any haki is sort of setting that up, where it's like, I'm not going to use it all in one go. I'm going to go Gear 4th, but I'm still going to have some haki in reserve, because it just doesn't work. It's just not that efficient. Even against Doflamingo, he needed a 10-minute break. So I was just thinking about, how phones and computers have battery saver modes. So this could be Gear 4th Haki Saver Mode. I'm not going to lie, that was pretty cringe. So let's move on. But I will say, long story short, I will say that if he gets awakening, I hope that he finds a way of using it so that he can either restore or store some of his haki for future use, because he's going to need it. And just like we had Brule in the beginning hyping up Katakuri, we also have Tamago in this chapter hyping up the Straw Hats. And was I the only one who thought that the fact that he was referencing Pedro and the fact that Pedro sacrificed himself to help the Straw Hats was actually going to resonate with Peckham's? Then he was going to be like, oh crap, well if Pedro died to save them, then I must do something to help them as well. I mean, because Pedro was my homie. So yeah, that was a little bit of foreshadowing, I think, especially because of how much Pedro's death affected Peckham's. I like how Tamago is calling out Mondior, because he's literally just giving all these excuses. It's like, that was an accident, and Tamago's like, well, there's been a hell of a lot of accidents lately, so we gotta stop fooling around. We have to take this seriously. I mean, look at this. The cake fell down. So we're gonna send ships. We're gonna send troops to the furthest reach of the territory, because if they escape, all right, then that's gonna leave a stain on Big Mom's name, and we can't have that, because she's a Yonko. She has a reputation to uphold. We get a shot of Capone's ship, which is called Nostra Castella, which in Italian, if you translate that, it means our castle, which makes sense because the ship looks like a castle, and also, Capone can turn into a giant castle fortress. Now they're going over to Cacao Island to get Chiffon, and they're lucking out, like I said, because the sea slugs are not reporting on anything. Personally, I think it'd be really cool if Capone went to Cacao Island and actually had a fight against one of the Big Mom pirates. Just like Sanji. I hope Sanji gets a fight there as well. I hope either Oven or Daifuku show up and they can have a fight, possibly to protect Pudding and Chiffon. So both of them can get a fight that way. And then lastly, we get this amazingly well-drawn panel of Niji standing atop of this it's literally the definition of a pile of garbage. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. Look at all that trash. I don't think I've seen that much antagonistic trash concentrated in one place since Fishman Island. I like how Oda snuck Pandaman into that pile. If you look closely, you'll see Pandaman going yeah! Just photobombing that. Now listen, all right? The force, according to what was said in the chapter, that was supposed to be 10,000 strong, all right? And the Germa, it doesn't seem like they used their clone army to deal with them. It seems like it was just the 4 of them, right? So either we got to give props to the Vinsmokes, or that's just a lot of fodder. Which one is it? Judge is not part of this final page, which to me is just like Oda's way of hiding his face until he wants to reveal that he has like the same eyebrows as Sanji. But he's keeping that a secret until they meet up again. So that'll happen. And it just seems like everybody's going to Cacao Island at this point. Everybody's going in the same direction. I think the reason for why Mondior like legitimately thinks that it's Nostart who's talking on the Denden Mushi is because I think Niji, because I guess he has electrical powers or whatever, he's grabbing Nostart by the throat. And so I think what he's doing is that he's transferring like via maybe some type of electrical current. He's using like his voice features and transferring them over to the Denden Mushi, or maybe using like some type of a filter with his power of electricity. I don't know. That's just what I thought. Because otherwise, like he would have been found out. Like Mondior would have been like, "You're not Nostart." And so Ichiji, using Sasuke's voice, says, "We're moving out. Ready the ships." And the question is, are they going to help out the Straw Hats, or are they just going to start more problems? Because I also found it interesting how we also don't get to see Reiju's expression. I wanted to read her reaction to what was going on, and we don't get to see her face. Because that final panel makes me think that Ichiji kind of has like a plan of his own moving forward. And also, again, Tamago is sending troops to the outskirts of the territory, so somebody's going to have to take care of those troops, unless they're ordered to stand down by the end of the arc. So we'll see what happens. That's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video if you did, like the review. Helps out a lot. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more One Piece reviews. Comment down below with your thoughts. Overall, I thought this chapter was actually pretty content heavy, even though the first time I read it, it didn't seem that way. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye. Haki Saver Mode.